Welcome to Two Birds, One Stone, a podcast dedicated to the Arizona Cardinals. Today is November 14th, 2021. Cardinals just got shit pumped by the Carolina Panthers at home, 34-10. Granted, this is the second week in a row without Kyler Hopkins, or Kyler Murray, excuse me, and DeAndre Hopkins. We got AJ Green back. Turns out he's not that much of a game changer when it comes to those other two guys. But yeah, what say you about that performance, little bro?
Bury the tape. Colt McCoy turns out to not be that good.
Turns out he's a backup quarterback for a reason.
Mr. Reese, your take has gone cold. I know you were hot last week, but your take has gone cold. But yeah, it turns out he's not that good of a quarterback. Looking at the game surface at surface level, you think, oh, the defense played like shit. The defense did not play good. They didn't play awesome, but they were never really. They were kind of fucked from the get go. You know,
that's what I was going to say.
With the blocked punt, with the two picks that Colt threw. You were kind of screwed from the get-go. They weren't really put in a really good position to succeed. So I don't really this game to me doesn't hold a lot of value without, let's say, like you said, we're missing Kyler, missing Hopkins. It's just kind of a scrap the tape, throw it away. Don't look at it. You'll come back next week, hopefully with Kyler and Hopkins. Hopefully our line heals up a little bit too, and then we kind of move forward. I'm not going to put too much thought into this game.
It kind of reminds me of the Packers losing last week. Granted, It was 7-13. It wasn't 34-10 or whatever, but Aaron Rodgers, it's not like they're going to get knocked down a bunch because they lost the game without their quarterback. I think it hurts us more that we kicked the shit out of the Niners last week without them. So the expectation was you would, in our minds, I think going into this game was the 49ers were a better team than the Panthers. But you watch that game today, they're not. They have McCaffrey might be the most electric player in the fucking league.
He's very good.
There's nobody that could hang with him. You like Isaiah Simmons is one of the most athletic linebackers in the NFL. There's a reason you draft somebody like that. It's for those kind of matchups, and he just time and time again out of the backfield.
I think also another reason. I mean, there's not a whole lot of recent tape on Colt McCoy. And then I think the success he had last week was kind of a bit of no one's really seen him in a while. And now the Panthers had a full game of tape on him. And he's kind of all his little tricks up his sleeve have kind of been figured out. And it turns out there wasn't that many tricks up his sleeve. But yeah, like I said, it's just kind of a bury the tape game.
So opening drive, Cardinals got the ball first after losing the coin toss. The Cardinals are 1-2 in games where they haven't won the coin toss. Is that a coincidence or no? Losing record without winning the coin toss. Anyway, just something to keep an eye on, folks. So opening drive, Cardinals get the ball, couple plays in, sack, fumble. McCoy, of course, it was Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick had 2 sacks on the day. Hate to see him succeeding the way he is for how cheap. You know how much he's getting paid? He got paid a 1-year, $8 million deal by the Panthers. That's what lured him from the Cardinals. I guess the Cardinals didn't offer much. Anyway, so that sets the Panthers up in great field position. They move the ball down to the 2-yard line, and it's fucking Cam Newton, of course, comes in on his first snap of the game, a power quarterback run to the right, just brushes off Marcus Golden and Zaven Collins like they're nothing, like they're children, and gets in the end zone, 7-0. That's dirty flashbacks from 2015 was all I was seeing on my Twitter timeline. Oh, I hate that, man.
You don't like to see it. Yeah, you don't like to see it.
It hurt me.
It's just, like I said, I'm not going to let this game affect me too much emotionally, solely for the fact that half of our line was hurt. Kyler was hurt, and our best receiver was hurt. Also, our starting running backs hurt as well. So we're just kind of banged up right now. This is a game I think we're still number 1 in the NFC West, the best division in the league. We're still number 1 in the NFC. We're still number 1 in the whole NFL, correct?
We'll be behind the Packers if they hold on and win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be both 8-2, but they'll have the tiebreakers.
Either way, we're still number 1 in our division. I'm not like this is a kind of a game. Hey, Colt McCoy.
We're here to talk about the game. We have to talk about the game. So that's what happened on the first. It's okay. We're down 7-0. I get, yeah. So next drive, Cardinals we get up to like the 40-yard line or something, and it's 4th and 1. First, no, I take that back. It's 3rd and 1. First off, they give it to Eno Benjamin on 3rd and 1. I get Connor can't be in the game on every single play. But okay, you would think you give it to Eno on 3rd and 1. He doesn't. I don't even know if he gets back to the line of scrimmage. So it's 4th and it's more than a yard. It's marked down as 4th and 1 on the TV, but it's like a yard and a half. You do a quarterback sneak with McCoy, and it's like you're at 3rd and 1. James Conner has to get one of those touches if you're going to go for it on 4th down. That just kind of like they get the ball back on our side of the field at like the 40. McCaffrey has that huge play where he kind of gets like he's kind of behind the line, and then he bounces out and he gets all the way. He was initially called a touchdown. It gets reversed. The Panthers get it at the 2-yard line. Then Cam throws a touchdown pass, and at that point, it's 14-0. The next drive, the Cardinals have it. McCoy throws that terrible across the body interception.
That was bad.
Right. I wrote down on my notes, game is over right now. Hopefully I'm proved wrong. But at that time, it was only 14-0. And it was like the second quarter. It was like, it's over at this point. And I put that down. I was hoping that was kind of going to jinx things. It didn't at all. It was ugly, like I've gotten to thought the whole way. Zane Gonzalez was like 4 for 4 on field goals. Fuck him too. It was just a lot of bad energy, flashbacks from 2015, and then Zane costing us 3 or 4 games as he did last season, comes in and kicks a pretty good game. I think he had a 48-yarder. Yeah, it was tough to watch.
I completely agree.
Some positives, I guess. Maybe Jalen Thompson got an interception.
Yep.
So
yep.
Jalen Thompson. I think that's his second on the year. Good stuff there. I traded for James Conner in fantasy this week. He scored a touchdown, so he kept that going.
There you go.
James Conner leading the league in touchdowns still, so that's cool. Other than that, it was the worst game of the Cardinals season by far. I don't know what else to say about it. I will say this. I think in the first half, I know they got off to there's a reason behind it. They got behind early. This is what Cardinals have done to teams. They get up front early, so it eliminates the run game. So like you force the opposing quarterbacks to drop back and throw every play. But when I think there was only 4 run plays in the first half, 2 by Eno and 2 by James Conner.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work when Colt McCoy is your quarterback. You can't just drop back every play.
I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more from Eno. Not performance-wise, because he never really got a shot to, but as far as touches-wise, I was kind of excited for that. Yeah, I mean, Eno with just, I mean, I feel like he's kind of a fan favorite. I was just kind of looking for a little bit more usage out of him.
But we talked about this last week. This might not be a note at all, but the Panthers didn't punt until the second half, but Rondale Moore was not returning punts. It was Dortch. I guess that could be attributed to wide receiver injuries. Yeah. Want more out there on special teams, but like we talked about last week, he was kind of struggling there for a little bit. Excuse me, in the last few weeks. So get somebody else back there. I don't know if he's the answer either. A lot of side to side instead of just getting yards in front of you. I get that. That's like a bubble roster kind of guy. Dortch was. Yeah. Got called up from the practice squad, so he wants to make every play possible. So I understand that part. One of the play calls. Okay, so it's 23-3, and I know we don't want to dive too into like specifics of the game. It didn't affect us last week, but it was like third and 6, and it's 23-3. Like I said, we're moving the ball finally. We're in Panthers territory, and like it's a huge play in the game. We score on that drive. Who knows what happens? Maybe we get a ball this way, that way, whatever. But they call like a designed rollout with Colt to the left. I don't know if you remember that play. He just snaps it, sprints to the left, and then there's immediately pressure in his face, and he just has to throw it up, and he misses Ertz by like 10 yards. We didn't see it at all last week, but it seemed like we were able to call pretty much the same playbook. That's not a Colt McCoy play. That play is designed for someone like Kyler Murray to be out there. And there's just a couple times in that game where it's like, we got by. I remember I was texting a buddy during the game. It's like, you're allowed one backup quarterback win. That's it. Like, and then you get one. You're lucky if you get that one. You're not going to get two. I don't care. Like,
right.
We got our one. We're like, hey, if you would have told me Kyler Murray was going to miss 2 games this year, that's 2 losses. And it was going to be my opinion. So, I mean, fingers crossed he can get back next week. Whenever I was like, it came out today that he wasn't playing, I was like genuinely surprised. I don't know how you felt about that, but
I wasn't. I feel like he could have played if it would have been a game against the Rams, or if we would have been playing Seattle this week. I think he would have played, but this game isn't near as important as others could be. So, and especially with Seattle coming up next week, he's your face.
Like
he's everything.
Much,
he's everything you have. If he gets seriously injured and misses more than 2 games, then we're absolutely screwed. So I'm on the side of take the precaution, take the extra game. If it'd be anybody else on the entire team but him, I would say play. But him, if he's not there, then we are absolutely fucked. So take the extra game that isn't a backbreaker if we lose it. We already, like you said, we already got our one win against a divisional opponent with our backup. Who cares about a loss to the 4 and whatever Panthers? You know what I mean? It's just kind of just take the loss and heal up.
So like as I was saying, the Panthers, as of right now, we're sitting. They would be in the playoffs at 5-5 in like the 7th spot. But I get that as much as I do. At the same time, if you can go. Like, don't be like, well, if it was this team, he'd go. But like, if the guy can fucking play, he should play. I know you don't want to baby him or whatever, but like, I don't know.
I feel like you kind of have to. He's like he is the heart pumping blood to the franchise. And if he were to go down, then you would see what we saw today every single game. So I take all the precautions. Sit him next week. We're in a good, it's not like we're fighting for, like we're in a good position right now as far as wins losses wise. Take the time, get him healthy, because we don't want to see what happened last year where we start out 5-1 and then 5-2, and then we catastrophically fall on our faces because Kyler has a nagging injury all season. Let him sit, let him be healthy, because a 60% Kyler Murray's not much better than a starting Colt McCoy. So take the time and heal up. That's kind of what I think.
I would disagree 100% that a 60% Kyler Murray I would take head and shoulders above Colt McCoy, but that's my opinion. Just my opinion. But I don't know, like there's a fine line there, because there's one number 1 seed, everybody else number 2 on is going to play in that first round. That is such a valuable thing. Like, I don't know. I get what you're saying too, but speaking of, you don't want to see what happened today if we lose Kyle. Let's talk about some of just like the team stats. So the Cardinals had 11 first downs. Let's see. They only ran 53 plays compared to the Panthers 70. That's a big difference. Total yards was 169 total offensive yards.
Yeah.
Fucking putrid. 3.2 yards per play. Like I said, carries wise, they had 20 carries, which I guess was a shit ton in the second half, because like I said, there was only 4 by Eno and James Conner in the first half. 20 carries, 65 yards, 2 turnovers, the fumble and the interception, both from Colt. Just fucking putrid, terrible.
It's a Colt McCoy ran offense if I've ever seen one. So.
Like I said, yeah, you get one backup one, not 2. So, yeah, you don't want to. After reading that, I maybe side a little more with you, but if he can fucking go, he needs to go next week, especially a division game.
He'll go next week. I think he definitely could have played this week if we needed him to, but I don't think this was the most crucial game.
I understand.
Attention Cardinals Twitter fans, you can change your profile pics to not be anymore. You can cut that shit out now.
I never jumped on that wagon.
You guys can change that back.
80% of the fan base changed their profile pics on Twitter to Colt McCoy's face. It didn't work, so go ahead and switch it to whatever it was before. So we got 3 team stats, kind of like around the NFC. So with our loss, as we kind of hit it on earlier, it doesn't drop us out of the picture too far back, because the Bucs lost Again, that's 2 straight losses by the Bucks. So I better not hear any more fucking the NFC still runs through Tampa because they're really not that good of a football team this season. Is that a hot take? I don't know.
I don't think so.
The Packers currently, can you check the score of that game?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
The Packers currently are beating the Seahawks. Last I checked, 17-0 at home.
That'll drop 17-0. They won
17-0. So Green Bay's defense, I think I said in a podcast last week that I think when they were playing the Chiefs, when I was predicting the game, Green Bay's defense is average. There'll be points in the game. Green Bay's defense is really good. I must have not just listened to the numbers on that. They've got a great defense. I would almost say
Jair Alexander flies around. He's a playmaker. He's really good.
Yeah, I know he was out a couple of weeks. You're probably right. I think he is back, but their offense is I think their defense is probably better than their offense at this point. I didn't get to watch any of it, but I guess they put up 17, like you said, against the Seahawks defense that nothing to write home about. So maybe Rodgers, are you on the ESPN app? Can you read his numbers?
Rodgers. He went 20 for 40. No, that's Wilson. Sorry. 23 of 37 for 292 yards and a pick.
Not great.
So
what was
not
Russell's?
eye-popping.
You say 20 of 40?
20 of 40 for 161 yards and 2 interceptions.
Oh, yikes.
Not a very good comeback. A.J. Dillon had a good game. Devontae Adams did his thing like normal. But yeah, that's alarming if you're a Seahawks. If you're a
Seahawks fan, you're sitting there the last couple of weeks. He only missed, I think, 3 weeks because one was a bye and then they had missed 2 games. So that was best case scenario when you hear about the finger. And I think when he was healthy, I guess they were right around 500 when he broke his finger. So it's not like they were playing that great. But when he goes down, you're kind of leaning on that crutch. Like, yes, we're losing games, but we're going to get him back and maybe we can go on a run. Today I know it's a tough game and we lost to the Packers and it was in Green Bay, snowy and all that. If you lose that game and now you're 3-6 and you're Seattle, it kind of feels like that's, I won't say nail in the coffin because the 7th spot in the NFC is so wide open with like the Panthers and the Falcons and the Eagles might be in the mix. So it's anyone's to come get, but 3-6, that's a deep hole to climb out of. And they've got to play us twice. I don't know. Have they played I think they played the Rams and lost. So they've got the Rams again. They probably don't have that easy of a schedule coming up. I want to say put a fucking fork in the Seahawks. Is that too early?
I don't think so. Like you said, with how good the NFC is this year, I don't think so at all.
It almost frightens me.
3-6 is kind of alarming.
We had to play them twice, and now all they're going to be playing for, especially week 17 when we play them, is let's just ruin the Cardinals parade, which we could all see that happening.
I would like to do a little fun thing.
Cowboys also beat the Falcons, so
I want you to name your top 5 teams in the NFL, starting from 5 going up.
Oh,
actually, no, you can start from 1 and go down. Yeah,
it's hard not to put. Like, I want to say the Cardinals still. It's a Cardinals podcast.
Say this.
Cardinals, I'm still putting it 1.
I'll say this. Yeah.
I'm putting the Cardinals still at 1. They didn't have their fucking quarterback or Hopkins today. They will go 1-1 without their quarterback. They're still 8-2, still tied for the best record in football. You know what? I'm going to put the Packers at 1 because they beat us. That's fair. They're both 8-2. They beat us. They can be 1 for now. Cardinals 2, straight only because the Packers got the head-to-head. Titans 3, that week 1 victory looks better and better every week because even without Henry, they're finding ways to win. They beat the Saints today, 23-21, a close game, but it's a Saints team
also,
even without their quarterback.
Bruised up, beat up Saints team, like limping Saints team.
Oh yeah, no Kamara. Yeah,
no Kamara, no Winston. I don't know a single wide receiver on their team. I've never heard of any of them. Mark Ingram was the best player on their field, if that tells you anything.
Yeah. So that was probably a gross game to watch. But I mean, it's a win, and as we said on Cardinals podcast, wins are wins. That's an out of conference opponent. They played them last year, but they don't see each other much. So you've got to find ways to win those kind of games. Yeah. So I will put the Titans at 3. Rams at 4, and Bills rounded out at 5. They won again. The Bills won like 45-17, bouncing back from the Jags lost last week. I mean, it's a lot of parity. There's a lot of swings and misses at the top, like ups and downs. I just think consistency is going to be the most important in the end. And the Packers, Cardinals, and Titans have been the most consistent this season. So there's been a couple fluke losses, but
I'm gonna go ahead and put the Cardinals 1 because we're a Cardinals podcast. Then I'll go Packers 2. And then I'll go. Oh,
really, I mean, there's not that many options because everybody else you see glaring holes, or they've had really bad losses.
I'll go Cardinals 1, Packers
Rams.
2, Titans 3, and then I'll probably go Rams, and then I'm gonna go in the current state right now. I'm gonna go Patriots number 5.
Okay,
I think the Patriots are playing good football.
Yeah,
I like the Patriots.
And everybody saw that coming. That's fucking annoying, is it not?
I like it. I've never been a Patriots hater. I kind of think it's cool. I thought it was cool whenever Brady was there or whatever, but I kind of like it. I think Mac Jones is going to be good. He's more than serviceable at this point. He's behind Jamar Chase. He's the best rookie in this class so far, and I feel like with every week he plays, he just looks more and more confident.
Yeah. So
which is kind of
Patriots beat the Browns at home today, 45-7. Yeah. Mac Jones was 19 of 23, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yep. They put Brian Hoyer in at the end. They were just killing him so bad. I think Baker went out with an injury in that one. So
late.
Yeah. So with so that didn't affect the game. Baker was out in the game during all that. But
don't give Browns fans any excuses. No.
Yeah. So Browns, after coming off of a big win last week against the Bengals without Odell, and it's like, the cancer of Odell is gone. Browns are about to go on a run. The Patriots shit pumped them, and I kind of have to evaluate things in Cleveland, I guess. It seems like every time this season when they it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I thought that would be a good game. I think I would have picked the Patriots to win, but yeah, Patriots. I'm not going to put them above the Bills yet. So that's fair. You got the Patriots at 5. I've got the Bills at 5. But yeah, I mean,
it's a weird season. There's not really a clear cut number 1. There's not really anybody that's pulling away. This is kind of the first season where you haven't really had that. I like it. I'd rather have stuff like this and have the Chiefs who's dominated the league in the past 2-3 years or whatever. It's fun to have a little bit more variables and changes and stuff going on.
Yeah. Did the Patriots play the Bills yet this year?
I don't think so.
I think they did. I think it was a closer game then. Nope.
Yeah.
Well, no. So they play twice in December. They'll play December 6th in Buffalo and then day after Christmas in New England. So, I mean, that'll be interesting.
Play the Titans in 2 weeks after coming off a bye. I'm gonna bet the piss out of the Patriots in that game, I think.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Well, that whole, like we said, that around the NFC thing, we're only behind the Titans just due to the tiebreaker. Both are 8-2, and then we'll see what the Rams do on Monday Night Football. Who do the Rams play on Monday night?
They play the Niners.
The Niners, yeah. I mean, it'd be shocking if the Rams lost to the Niners after what we saw from last week, but who knows? So then they would also be at 8-2, but we would have the tiebreaker over them.
We're kind of forgetting about the Cowboys a little bit too, I feel.
Well, I tried to fill them in before you interrupted me. They kicked the crap out of the Falcons today.
A 40-pointer, yeah.
Yeah, 44-6, I think. So, but that was extremely important for them after what they showed last week against the Broncos. That was one of the uglier games of the season. Dak was horrendous. We talked about that last week. So that was big for them. Falcons were kind of like a frisky little playoff fringy team at 4-4 going into that. They're like, well, it was a lot of, maybe the Falcons don't suck as bad as we all thought. Like I don't know if they're good, but they're around 500, and they just happen to be just the team that was in the way this week of a good Cowboys team that really needed to bounce back, and they got crushed. I
think I would put the Cowboys over the Bills at this point. Bills have too many unexcusable losses. The Jags lost, right? Jags, right?
They lost the Jags. They lost the Steelers.
Into the Jets, right? Jags and Jets.
They didn't lose the Jets.
Are you sure?
They played the Jets today, and I think wasn't it the Jets they played today?
Yeah, but I thought they played them earlier I thought they had 2 really bad losses. Let me look it up real quick.
They lost to the Titans the Steelers and the Jags. No, they lost to the Titans, not the Jets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not an inexcusable loss, but yeah, I think I would put the Cowboys in front of the Bills at this point.
That's fair.
It's all kind of close. It all can get the next week whenever the Cowboys could lose to a shit team or it's all there's. I like how there's so much there's so much undecidedness in the league
Parity.
right now.
There's anybody can win any week, and that's what they always say. But a lot of times it doesn't mean anything. We mentioned the Bucs lost to the Redskins. Well, the football team.
Dare you?
Excuse me,
that man.
Excuse me, the Washington football team. They're 3-6 now. The Bucs dropped to 6-3. That would have been huge if the Saints were able to pull that off today, because they were a 2-point conversion away from tying that. And I think with like a minute to go, that probably would have went into OT then. But 6-3. Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. We'll see. So I mean, just be sitting at 8-2. We're still right at the top. We're going to get our superstars back next week, hopefully. I get it. Like, if you rested them these 2 weeks and it's really as bad as I guess they're saying, but they're not saying it's that bad. Kyler was like, it's made extreme strides this week. I watched him and he was out there on the field in pregame, hopping around on his feet, like throwing whatever, like didn't look like stuff that you would be doing if your ankle was hurt. Too bad to play the game, but that's just me, whatever. So if you've sat him these 2 games, I could see him maybe doing one more and just getting to the bye. Then he's got a whole month of rest. He would have missed 4 weeks. Like, I don't know. I don't see it. He's going to play.
He'll play against Seattle. I think he'll play against Seattle.
Less optimistic about Hopkins because, like we've said, and I think I said last week, like just a hamstring is so weird. Like you just never know. But I mean, fingers crossed, get him back.
Right.
Just traded for him in fantasy too, so kind of loaded up on Cardinals out of nowhere. I usually don't do that, but we've never usually been this good on offense, so there's not as many playmakers. But I think I have Kyler, James Conner, DeAndre Hopkins, and Zach Ertz and AJ Green on my bench. So I don't have Zach and AJ are not starting, but that's 3 prominent Cardinals. Maybe I should look into moving before the trade deadline or just double down and throw them in the starting lineup. Just ride or die. But so did you had a bet this week or did you have
I had
any?
2 different parlays I threw. Not very good. I bet the Browns, Lions, and Seahawks. If I would have flipped it, I would have won. So you hate to see that. Except the Lions tie. And then I had
for the Lions. They didn't lose this week. That's good for the Lions.
Yeah, that's good for them.
Progress.
Then I had the over in the Cardinals Panthers game, and then the Cardinals -9.5, and I got that when Kyler was supposed to play. So, or was hopeful to play. So obviously that didn't happen.
I didn't even think that he wasn't going to play until yesterday when I started seeing the report. Like I was like, I thought there's no chance he missed, but
so not a good gambling week for me. I'm still up a lot, so I'm not too concerned.
It's all right. Hey, you'll have an off week, as we've seen with the Cardinals today. You get off weeks. You want to hear something terrifying?
Sure.
If we do get the 1 seed, or if we don't get the 1 seed and we get the 2,
we'll play the Rams.
If we got the 2 seed, we'd play the lowest wild card team. You know, the team sitting with the lowest wild card is the Carolina Panthers. Could you imagine? I'd rather play the fucking Rams than the Panthers at home. Screw that. Let's take on Stafford.
Yeah.
Let's just hope we get the 1.
I don't know.
We fall lower than the
I said if Kyler Murray in this game, it's a whole different ball game. Don't get too frazzled, my friends. Just relax. RELAX. Relax.
I'm just saying, keep an eye on it out there. If you're one of those people that's petrified of the Panthers, and I'm getting there, we could see them in the first round. Fingers crossed, though. Let's play the Bucs I'd rather play the Bucs or the Rams and fucking Panthers first round. But anywho, like I said, we'll bounce back next week. 2nd loss of the season. We're sitting at 8-2. Like I said, if we didn't have Kyler Murray for 2 games, I would have definitely marked down 2 losses. We won 1 of them. So fingers crossed he comes back next week. We got Seattle, a bye week. Then we go to Chicago. prior to a Monday Night Football against the Rams the following week. So we'll get back on track. Nobody's panicking. I feel a lot better after talking about this. Like before, when I was watching the game, that fucking felt bad. Got to take a step back.
Sometimes you just got to talk things through.
Exactly. This should be therapeutic for everyone listening. I feel much better now. Every team has a bad loss, and our only bad loss came without our fucking quarterback. So
yeah, and our best wide receiver, and our best running back, and 2 starting offensive linemen. So I'm not. Fine. Everybody relax. Just relax.
Right on. All right, folks. We'll talk again next week. Until then, as always, go Birds.